Okay, everyone. Today we are going to use Zipforms to create a listing contract. Zipforms is where we are going to get all of our contracts, buying, our WB11s, our listing contracts, our any state-approved forms. We have what's called Zipforms, and it's going to be the same login that you use to log into MyKW. With Zipforms here, all we do is up top here is where you're going to go. So type that into your address bar. Once you've been signed up and given your username and password for Keller Williams, you enter in the same username and password to enter into Zipforms. After entering in your username and password, a new window will appear. Zipforms is a big program. Sometimes it gets bogged down. As you can see, it just logs in, and once you're logged in, this is where we'll get all our forms. Okay, so what you can see here is these folders are all my old previous deals. So what I do when I'm going to create a new contract, I go to New Transaction. Okay, it's going to ask me now what do I want to call this transaction. So we're going to list a house, 415 Memory Court. Let's try that. Okay, so now it's going to be a listing. It's a residential listing, so we'll leave those two checked. We'll click OK. And now what we have is we have a blank folder. Okay, I'm going to go through now and enter in all the forms that I'm going to need to get this property listed underneath this folder. So down here is our library. What I like to do is I like to expand it because otherwise it's just hard to read. So, and then I go to all libraries, and what I will do is actually I'll flip over from alphabetic over to categorize. They kind of categorize all the forms for purchase, leases, miscellaneous, local association, listing. And so I'm going to be doing a listing, so I'm going to open this folder up. I'll open it up a little bit farther too, so make sure we're reading everything and getting the correct dates. So, next, what we will be doing is I need a WB1, a residential listing contract. So when I double click it, it flips it up over into here, and that essentially drops it back into our folder. So as you can see now, under this folder, we have this listing contract. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through, find the other forms that I'm going to need to get this property listed. Now because we are Keller Williams, we need the affiliated business arrangement disclosure statement. So right here, I'll double click this one, and it drops in our affiliated business arrangement. We need this on every file. Every file we need to have this form signed by your buyers or your sellers. And what this form is basically just talks about the title companies and lenders that we have relationships with. We have to disclose that to all our customers and clients. Okay, so next I'm just scrolling through and finding any other forms that we're going to need to get this property listed. I'm going to need the Addendum D, the electronic delivery. I'm going to need the Addendum S, because with every listing that was built prior to 1978, which this property was, we need that Addendum S. There is a real estate condition report right here, if you guys can see this. This is the 2-paged one. We need the 3-paged one. 3-page one's a more accurate, up-to-date one. Real estate condition report, 3 pages right here. This 3-page one, double click it again, throws it into our folder, and then we're just going to keep scrolling through, make sure we have everything that we need. Okay, looks like we have everything we need now. So we have the listing contract, the affiliated business disclosure, the addendum D, the addendum S, and the real estate condition report. We need all of these to be filled out in order to get this property listed. So what I think I'll do now is I'm going to walk through each avenue or each box of this listing contract to essentially just get it listed. So now that we're done finding our forms, I'm going to switch this over, and then we're going to go through right in here and start filling it out. So, seller gives broker the exclusive right to sell the property on the following terms. Property description. Property address is 415 Memory Court in the village of Aloes, County of Brown. List price, we're going to list it for $119,900, and when you do this, it's going to automatically generate our the handwritten amount. Included in the list price, there is no I apologize, there is a there's a refrigerator, stove, microwave, and dishwasher. Actually, there is no dishwasher, so what we're going to do is do this and then just remove this. So it'll be stove, microwave, and refrigerator. Not included in the list price. We're going to put the seller's personal property. Marketing. How are we going to market this property? We're going to market it with the KWLS, open houses, yard sign, social media, the MLS, and MLS. So okay, they just want to know how are we going to market this house. We're going to do that. Exclusions, we have no exclusions or anything like that. The commission, what we're going to do is when I sit down with the seller, we're going to mark which amount we are going to take this listing at. Minimum is 6% plus. This is actually a $225 fee for our office. This is Madison's fee. They have a $229 or $295 fee. Our office here in Green Bay has a $225 fee. So it'll probably be 6% plus $225. Compensation to other brokers. What are we going to pay someone to if someone brings a buyer to our property? Okay, I always put 2.1 to 3%. These are definitions. When I sit down with the seller, this is an area that these three lines, 128, 129, 130, and 131. I'm sorry, these four lines. These four lines actually struck through this. There we go. Okay, so these three areas, we need initials on only one of these three lines. If the seller consents to designated agency, they need to initial here. If they consent to multiple relationships, they need to initial here. And if they reject multiple relationships, you need to have them initial here. A lot of times, if you're not paying attention, the seller's going to go through and they're going to initial all three. That's not what you need. Your contract will get rejected. They need to select one of the three. Okay, these additional provisions are Madison's additional provisions. It really has no effect on us, so I'm just going to strike through all of this. Okay, the attached addenda. What are we going to attach to this listing contract? We're going to attach an addendum D, an addendum S, which is the lead-based paint, and the real estate condition report. They already attached the real estate condition report up above. It's redundant to put this in here, but I just do because I like being extra thorough. So the term of the contract, we're going to say we'll call it a one-year contract. So we got 1 year, 14. So 4th day of October 2013 to the 4th day of October 2014. That's going to be a 1-year contract. So we have 1 year to try to sell this property. What we'll do then is when I'm sitting down with the sellers, I'll have them sign and fill out everything from here to here. If they're married, if it's a married couple, the spouse needs to fill out right here. A lot of times it's the same information, but still fill it out fully and to the best of their ability. And then this is the spot that most people miss, 275 to 280, especially when you're first getting started. You need to fill this information out, and you, the agent, need to sign this. Okay, we have the listing contract filled out now. When I print this off, I'll take it to them. I'll have them initial what agency they want to take, and then fill out and sign the contract. So we almost have a complete package. We're going to move on now to the affiliated business arrangement disclosure. The affiliated business arrangement disclosure here is basically the form that we need them to sign. So this would be, in this case, it would be seller's name here, and I have to print it out. You know, John. Let's just say John Doe, and we'll call his wife Mary Jo. So they need to Mary Doe. Sorry, they need to date and sign this, that they understand for this property that us as Keller Williams has relationships with these three companies. It means nothing to us because they're in Madison, but we still need to disclose it. The addendum D, electronic delivery. I'm going to strike out offer to purchase, and I'm going to strike out buyer agency form. So basically the listing contract, they're agreeing that I can electronically deliver the listing contract to them. So once everything's signed, I scan it all in at the computer and I send it off to them saying, hey, here's your copy of everything that's signed. The seller's initials, yes, they're going to give electronic. You put their email address in here. The buyer's initials, that has nothing to do with us just yet, and then I will initial myself right here under listing broker's initials. The addendum S, we need to fill this out. So the addendum S is property located at 415 Memory Court in Aloes, Wisconsin. The seller represents that seller has no knowledge of any lead-based paint or lead-based paint hazards present in or on the property except. So the seller has to disclose if they know for a fact that there is lead-based paint in this in the house. Most of the time people just don't know because they've never had it tested. So seller's signature, line 25, do not miss this. Sellers have to sign this saying that they understand, that they read this, and that you know, they don't have any, they're saying I don't know if there's lead-based paint. If there is, they have to disclose it right here. Then we'll put the date in, and we'll print their names right here. See where it says print names here? We'll do that. Okay, we're going to keep scrolling down now. The next section is where there's definitions and then agent signature. So this is going to be me, and then I also have to print my name and the firm name. So Keller Williams Green Bay. I'll put today's date, and then I'm going to sign it right here. When we get an offer from the buyer's agent, it's their job to sign here that they've said that they've given this to the buyer. And then they have to fill out a few more things. So as far as our concerned, we're done on the listing side with the addendum S. Next thing we're going to move on to is the real estate condition report. As you can see, it automatically populates this information, and I'll have them sign it today. But agents, do not fill this form out. This is for your sellers. Your sellers have to go through and they have to read each line in this, and they have to check yes, no, not applicable, or see experts reports. It's your seller's job to fill this out. I can't advise that enough. Do not fill this out at all. Your sellers have to fill this out, and then we're going to give this to the prospect, to the buyers who might be interested in buying it. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom just to show you guys. Your sellers need to they need to literally read every one of those lines that we just flipped through there and initial yes, no, not applicable, or see experts reports. They also need to disclose how long they've lived in the property, and then explain any yeses from above. So if they mark one with a yes, they have to tell us what their, what they responded yes to. The owners need to sign it in date, and then the buyers are going to sign it when they want to write an offer in on the property. That's pretty much it for this training. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to print all the forms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to print all those 5 forms, and I'm going to take them to the seller to get signed. And that's pretty much it. Concludes a listing contract for Zipforms.